He is a senior enlisted non-commissioned officer of the Montana National Guard and advises the Adjutant General on all matters regarding enlisted members of Montana's Air and Army National Guard. Command Sergeant Major Cooper enlisted in the United States Marine Corps in 1976 and served as a KC-130 loadmaster during his 4 years with the Marines. He joined the Montana Army National Guard in 1984 as a combat engineer and also attended the University of Montana, rose in leadership positions, and entered into full-time status in the 1063rd Engineers, and rose to the Operations NCO in 1995 with the 1st Battalion, the 163rd Infantry Regiment in Bozeman, where he went on to become First Sergeant, Companies D, Sergeant Major, and Command Sergeant Major of the Battalion. Deployed to Iraq with them in 2005. Upon return to Montana, he became the Ops Sergeant Major of the 95th Troop Command and became the top NCO in 2009. Command Sergeant Major Coopers attended all of the Army NCO development courses. They include Sergeant Major's Academy in 2006. He and his family reside in Helena, and his decorations include the Bronze Star, the Combat Infantryman Badge, and numerous meritorious service, good conduct, and service decorations. Let's give a warm welcome to Command Sergeant Major.
Thank you. Really, you get all those awards just for being old and hanging out a long time. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm totally honored. Protocol would usually have me welcome the Senator and the Congressman first, but please, Marines, sailors, airmen, thanks for being here. I'm proud to serve with you. Veterans, wow, what can I say? World War II vets, greatest generation, and they're called that for a reason. The Korean vets, you know, when I was growing up, I didn't hear a lot about the Korean War until I met two uncles that served in the Marine Corps in the Frozen Chosen, and wow, their impact was no less great. The Vietnam vets, if you grew up in the 60s and 70s, you got to see that war every day on TV. We had 2 channels, so you got to see it regardless whether you wanted to or not. You know, kind of a shame the way the folks in the United States treated the veterans when they came back. But I think that is what has led to the treatment that our fine vets get today. And I want to say thank you to all the Vietnam veterans. You're all my heroes. President John F. Kennedy said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers." Today, we remember and honor the American soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen, ordinary men and women who died while in military service. It is fitting that our nation chooses the last Monday in May as Memorial Day. This day marks the beginning of summer. You know it's summer in Montana because it's not snowing. What could be a more fitting tribute to the men and women who died in service to their country than the day that gives birth to a season filled with warmth and life? Memorial Day is not a day of solemn mourning, but a day of reverent celebration. Since 1866, when the people of Waterloo, New York dipped their flags to half-mast and decorated their village to remember the military members who died during the Civil War, our nation has paid tribute to those lives of all servicemen and women who have fallen in the line of duty. Since 1948, Arlington National Cemetery has decorated each of its graves with our nation's flag. Thousands of servicemen and women plant the flag at the base of gravestones in order to lift up the lives of those heroes. The graves at Arlington and at countless cemeteries worldwide remind us that freedom is not free. It has a cost. The military members resting there live supporting the lives and the values that create the backbone of our nation. These great Americans share a special heritage, a common bond with today's military personnel. If you would look into their lives, whether privates, sergeants, lieutenants, or generals, you would see practiced the same values that today's military practices: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. These were ordinary men and women who rose to meet seemingly impossible odds and did extraordinary things. These brave men and women left the safety of their sovereign soil to defeat tyrants, ensure justice, and fulfill the promise of safety and security for our citizens and the global community. Their lives were dedicated not to conflict or death, but to compassion and life. We've all been touched by the ultimate sacrifice that our military members have made in service to their country. The suffering it's brought to mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, spouses, and friends. We remember the families of the missing and the Gold Star families who lost loved ones to illness, injury, and combat, who stood strong through uncertainty, and whose resilience, dedication, and commitment to their military members continue to shine as beacons through the darkest hours for the rest of us. Today I ask you to remember and honor the missing as well. Our nation is committed to the warrior ethos, "I will never leave a fallen comrade behind," and it continues its effort to locate, identify, and repatriate those men and women who have not returned home. Today is more than a day to celebrate those who gave their lives in service to the nation. We should take the opportunity in a less final, less heroic way to be willing to strengthen ourselves for what lies ahead. For nearly 10 years, we've been engaged in a long-term struggle against violent extremism. Iraq, where I served for a year, is on a path toward a more stable democracy. Every day, we and our coalition partners make advances to ensure a more secure Afghanistan. But our job isn't done. Though we've been resilient in meeting the challenges of war, we must prepare for the challenges of the next 10 years as well. In this world, terror will not rest. Violence will not sleep, and evil will not die. If we honor and remember those who served, compassion will prevail, justice will triumph, and freedom will reign. I ask you to remember those who stand shoulder to shoulder against terror and oppression to carry freedom's torch in foreign lands. Remember the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. Support their families. Never forget the missing, and rejoice in their lives. I try to do this on a regular basis, whether it's giving thanks to our proud Montana Guardsmen and women, our active duty brothers and sisters, or most importantly, all of you who came before us. Those who made the ultimate sacrifice so that I might grow up in the greatest country on earth. Those who fought before my time and are now proud veterans of our great military formations. I know that the efforts of all of those who served before me are what set the foundation for the United States of America to have the greatest military force in the world. For that, I thank you, and I salute you. In closing, thanks for letting me speak today. Please let this Memorial Day be a beginning, a rebirth of our commitment to live and to serve with passion, joy, and enthusiasm. Let us start summer with a triumphant and joyous song as we celebrate liberty, love, and life.